who's the one quarterback right now that if he were to be moved could really unfurl this and then all the dominoes start falling?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I think it starts with Deshaun Watson. Really, I think a lot of teams are going to sit and wait because Deshaun is 25 years old. He's one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL. So no disrespect to Russell Wilson, who's a very good player, but he's 32 years old. So 7 years older. His contract situation's a little stickier. So I think Deshaun is still the domino that we're waiting to fall. And with Russ, it's a little different because I know he said, "Oh, I'm not trying to be traded, but I have a list of 4 teams that I would go to." He's already named his teams. With Deshaun Watson, we haven't seen that. So teams like the New York Jets still have some hope that Deshaun Watson could be available. The Miami Dolphins still have some hope. The Carolina Panthers still have some hope that maybe the Houston Texans come to their senses and will actually trade Deshaun. So I think that's why we're seeing this market really slow down after, Stafford, Goff, and Wentz get dealt. Everybody's okay, let's go. Sam Darnold's going to get traded. Teddy Bridgewater's going to get traded. And that has all stopped because we are waiting to see what happens with Deshaun Watson.
Matt, this is your season right here, mock draft season, the off season. Todd McShay's latest mock draft is out right now. What did you make of where he has guys at?
I was shocked. I got an early look at this, and I think the biggest takeaway key is that 4 quarterbacks in the top 4 picks. That is unprecedented. We have never seen anything like that happen before. It would be historic, and it goes to the point of supply and demand. We just talked about the quarterbacks being traded. Those teams that can't trade, if the Jets can't somehow coerce Deshaun Watson to waive that no trade clause, they have to draft a quarterback at 2. The Miami Dolphins sitting at pick 3, we've seen before. They won 10 games last year. They don't have to use the number 3 pick. They could trade out, let a team like Carolina come up, and then at 4, the Atlanta Falcons have a 35-year-old Matt Ryan. So they're in a good situation where they can either try to build around Matt or they can trade out of that spot. So I think the quarterback's going 1, 2, 3, 4. They're deserving this year. 4 very good quarterbacks at the top of this class. But I do think it'd be wild. It'd be a great draft night if that's what happens April 29th.
Both you and Todd in your mock drafts have the Carolina Panthers jumping way up to go get Justin Fields. In all honesty, right now, is Justin Fields that much better than Teddy Bridgewater?
Oh, I think so. I do. I think that the key is that Justin is a much bigger player, much better athlete, much stronger arm. So when you look at quarterback position, what do we usually start with? All right, how big is he? All right, 6'3", 225. How strong is his arm? He can make throws to every level. Ohio State loved to roll this guy out and have him throw opposite field. And then what can he do athletically as a runner? Go back to his freshman tape at Georgia. Watch where they were just putting him on the field to run. He wasn't really being asked to throw. So I'm a big Justin Fields fan. I've said before on here, I think he is a more athletic Dak Prescott. So the arm strength, being able to open things up, see the total field. I love Teddy, but Teddy's a check down Charlie for sure. And you're not getting that from Justin Fields. He's able to hit every area of the field. And let's remember who Carolina's offensive coordinator is, guys. It's Joe Brady, who took Joe Burrow from Ohio State and said, no, we're opening things up. We're going to go fast pace. We're going to attack the entire field. He made Joe Burrow one of the greatest college quarterbacks ever with really one season of play. So I think Joe Brady working with Justin Fields, that's a marriage. That's a perfect marriage.
You certainly have been in the scouting department with that reference to Chuck Down Charlie.
Right.
Matt, let's talk
You've
about –
heard that before.
Let's talk about Kyle Pitts, man. Is a chance for him to be the highest tight end drafted in the draft, in the history of the draft. I saw Mel, I think, had him going 4th to the Jets. Todd had him going 6th in his latest mock draft. You have him going 4th to the Falcons. Are we starting to see this trend become a current thing?
I think, Jay, the difference is Kyle Pitts is not just a tight end. So folks see, like, tight end at 4, what are we talking about? This is not Vernon Davis coming out of Maryland. This is 6'6", 245 pounds, who's probably going to run in the 4.4 range at his Florida Pro Day. So it's a different dynamic, and we're seeing positionless football be played right now, where you look at Kyle Pitts, it's like we can line you up at wide receiver, slot wide receiver. We can put you in the backfield as an H-back. We can line you up as an inline tight end. So the game is changing where you take a player like Kyle Pitts and you just make him a mismatch problem. That's why I had him going to Atlanta. I know Mel and Todd are super high on him as well, as we might have to talk about him as the best non-quarterback in this draft class because of what he did at Florida, the catch radius, the yards after catch. Even when you knew the ball was going to him, even when you knew where Kyle Trask was throwing the ball, people could not stop Kyle Pitts. So I think, the year he had was amazing. There's some great wide receivers, Jamar Chase at LSU, Devontae Smith at Alabama. But if you want to ignite your pass game, you have to at least consider Kyle Pitts the first one off the board.
Let's talk about those two wide receivers. In your mock, you have Jamar Chase going 6th to the Eagles and Devontae Smith going 12th to the Lions. Is there that big of a gap between those two?
No, I don't think there is. And I know that seems crazy. People are listening at home or watching like 6 and 12. These are two of the best wide receivers we've seen in college football in quite some time. But remember last year, the run on wide receivers did not start as early as we expected. It didn't start till pick 11. So if we'd sat here March 5th, happy birthday to my mom, by the way. If we'd sat here March 5th and said, those wide receivers are going to go in the teens, we would have thought that was crazy talk. But right now, we're seeing the NFL devalue the wide receiver a little bit in the top 10. If you don't have a Julio Jones or a Calvin Johnson type player, as great as Jamar Chase is, he's 6 foot tall, 208 pounds. As great as Devontae Smith is, he's 6'1", 175 pounds. So players like that, there's not a great precedent for them going as early as people might expect. So 6 to the Eagles, a great landing spot for Jamar Chase to go work with Jalen Hurts. And then we could see the trickle-down effect, guys. We talked about the quarterbacks. If 5 quarterbacks go in the top 10 and 2 offensive tackles go in the top 10, someone has to fall. And like last year, it could be those wide receivers.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.